Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Maddie Stream, and I'm going to do your May the 22nd just for today in a meditation. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at Recovery of Hope 21. Special shout out to GH. Happy birthday. Happy birthday on today. So excited for you. Okay. The title of the meditation for today: Symptoms of a Spiritual Awakening. Oh, I need some symptoms, don't you? I need some symptoms of a spiritual awakening. The steps lead to an awakening of a spiritual nature. This awakening is evidenced by changes in our lives. That's taken from our basic text, page 49. We know how to recognize the disease of addiction. Its symptoms are indisputable. Besides an uncontrollable appetite for drugs, those suffering exhibit self-centered, self-seeking behavior. When our addiction was at its peak of activity, we were obviously in a great deal of pain. We relentlessly judged ourselves and others and spent most of our time worrying or trying to control outcomes. Just as the disease of addiction is evidenced by definite symptoms, so is a spiritual awakening made manifest by certain obvious signs in a recovering addict. We may observe a tendency to think and act spontaneously, a loss of interest in judging or interpreting the actions of anyone else, an unmistakable ability to enjoy each moment, and frequent attacks of smiling. Oh, isn't that beautiful? If we see someone exhibiting symptoms of a spiritual awakening, we should be aware that such awakenings are contagious. Our best course of action is to get close to these people. As we begin having frequent, overwhelming episodes of gratitude and increased receptiveness to the love extended by our fellow members and an uncontrollable urge to return this love, we'll realize that we too have had a spiritual awakening. Just for today, my strongest desire is to have a spiritual awakening. I will watch for symptoms and rejoice when I discover them. So amazing. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful meditation. Symptoms of a spiritual awakening. So here we have it, right? On one side of the spectrum, operating out of that lower destructive power, right? The disease of addiction, the spiritual malady, right? We're operating out of that, and there are symptoms of that. Some of us say it's easy to recognize the disease of addiction when it's active, but in actuality, it can be different for many people. However, there are some similarities. There's definitely this tendency to exhibit self-centeredness. There's this self-seeking behavior. There's a tendency to judge ourselves and others relentlessly, nonstop, thoughts that won't ever cease. Unless you're taking a downer, then you might really be able to get away from the racing thoughts, right? But there's this tendency to always be judging others, but in reality, it's a self-judgment, right? And so there's a tendency to want to make sure that what I need, when I need it, the way that I need it, that those things are met. And I really don't care when I'm in the disease of addiction, active disease of addiction. I don't really care what I need to do to get it. Now, I might have had some yets, but there comes a certain point in the disease of addiction, active addiction, where the yets are currently what I will do, right? In order to get my next one. Yeah, it doesn't always end so well for a lot of people, right? Those things that were yets and you end up doing them can take you to your gravesite. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't end so well for a lot of people. We're in my city still looking for people that decide to go back, right? For one more hit of that dude that you knew wasn't good for you. One more hit of that lifestyle that he brings to you easy, right? Turn a couple tricks and get high. And we're still looking for you, right? So sometimes that yet does not work out. Now that's the active disease of addiction, right? I heard a gentleman share the other day on a platform that I attend frequently, and he said he started to look outside his marriage. And one, he ended up getting the wife back and the kids, started looking outside his marriage, having a text relationship. And when he wanted to put it down, when he wanted to stop using that text, I call it sexting, texting relationship, when he wanted to put it down, that person turned on him and sent screenshots of all their messages to his wife. So, yeah, it still ended good for him being able to salvage his marriage, but it didn't look like it was going to. So sometimes that next one is the very one that will take you out or take you down or take you beyond recall. Okay. So that's the active addiction. It has symptoms, right? It has symptoms. It has obvious signs that you're sick. Now, the spiritual awakening part, the part that's operating out of a loving and caring higher power, the recovering from active addiction lifestyle, that also has symptoms, that also has signs that when you see a person and they are experiencing spontaneity, uh, they're experiencing the ability to turn a judgmental conversation into a what about me and how am I recovering? They're able to turn that around towards not looking at others, but looking at self and analyzing their own behavior, analyzing their own actions, and lining them up with their definition and recovery's definition of spirituality, healthy living, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Physically. The ability to enjoy moments that at one time we would not have found enjoyable. Sitting around a campfire talking about old stories of when we first got into the program and being able to laugh at ourselves. Oh, here's one: frequent attacks of smiling. You see that? That is an indication of a person that is healing. They're having a spiritual awakening. Their spirit their true spirit has become alive again and willing to explore life and discover life, live life without the use of drugs. Now, if you see that, they want you to know that it's contagious. If you hang out with a person like that, you will start catching these symptoms of recovery, these symptoms of spiritual awakening, rather. And you want that in your life. I do. I do. I have a strong desire for a spiritual awakening, and I'm going to have one. Today is going to be the best day. I want for you to have a great day on purpose. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.